Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Fabrizio Romano shares the latest he's heard on Newcastle United and Alexander Isak amid Liverpool links. Fabrizio Romano has provided an update on Liverpool's efforts to tempt Newcastle United star Alexander Isak away from the northeast this summer. In July, fans were shocked after a bombshell was dropped regarding star striker Alexander Isak. Reports stated that the 25-year-old was keen to explore his options away from Newcastle United during the summer transfer window, with Liverpool the leading candidate for his signature. Liverpool's interest in Isak is genuine, with Arne Slot's side placing a £110 million offer for the Sweden international in late July. However, that offer was quickly turned down by Newcastle's hierarchy members, even before Eddie Howe had become aware of it. Isak is burning his bridges with Newcastle after reports stated that he is livid with the club's board members, who told him there was little chance of his exit this summer. The only thing that could see him leave is if Liverpool make a £150 million bid before the window closes. After such a memorable season, Isak has tarnished his reputation on Tyneside, and it will take a lot for him to win over the trust of the Newcastle fans. With Liverpool still the #1 contender for Isak, transfer ace Fabrizio Romano has provided an update on what is going on behind the scenes at Newcastle. Liverpool remain confident they can sign Alexander Isak from Newcastle United. Alan Shearer thinks Liverpool will be unstoppable if they sign Isak. He would most likely partner Hugo Ekitike in attack, whom Newcastle were hoping to sign as the Swedes' replacement. Before all the controversy of the summer, there was hope that Newcastle could hand Isak a new contract. Any discussions now appear impossible after the latest developments. Now, Romano has shared the latest he has heard on Isak's situation on Tyneside. Alexander Isak wants to go to Liverpool. He said on his YouTube channel. He has no intention to return to a normal conversation for a new contract, so Liverpool keep hoping. They maintain their confidence in trying to make the deal happen. It remains a concrete opportunity. They want to see Alexander Isak as a new Liverpool. Fabrizio Romano hints at Newcastle United's next signing after Malik Thiaw. Defender Malik Thiaw is in Newcastle for his medical ahead of a £35 million move from AC Milan. Howe was very eager to sign a new centre-back this summer, and he has finally got a player he has had an eye on for well over a year. AC Milan boss Massimiliano Allegri was sad to see Thiaw leave, a sign that Newcastle have bagged themselves a quality player. With Thiaw soon to be announced, the Magpies will now turn their attention to other positions in their starting 11. Our second news is Alexander Isak agreement reached as Liverpool transfer target told, "It serves you right." Amid the fallout from Alexander Isak's attempts to engineer a transfer to Liverpool, there appears to be a consensus over the Newcastle star's conduct this summer. Speculation surrounding Alexander Isak's proposed move to Liverpool has cooled recently, but the same can't be said for the furor surrounding the Swedes' actions. Many Newcastle fans are understandably irate following their star striker's summer protests in an effort to force his exit. The player has been a revelation since joining the Magpies in 2022, helping the club qualify for the Champions League on 2 separate occasions. But much of that reputation has been devastated after Isak refused to join the club on their pre-season tour before being ordered to train on his own. There are those who have taken a sympathetic view of Isak's situation, but most pundits appear to be in agreement over their judgment. And Mirror Sport has compiled the views of some of the most prominent mouthpieces as uncertainty surrounds Isak's future in the northeast. Ally McCoist against throwing the toys out. Ally McCoist scored just 9 goals in 2 seasons at Sunderland, but he's siding with the Tyneside Giants when it comes to their handling of such a delicate matter. With 3 years left on Isak's contract, the Magpies are under no pressure to sell unless they receive an adequate offer. And McCoist believes the player is reaping only what he himself sowed after jumping the gun and segregating himself from his squad. "I think he's acted poorly," he told Mirror Sport. "Not all players, but some players and people forget that if you sign a contract, you are clearly happy with the contract. You can't sign a contract with the intention of doing well, throwing the toys out and demanding a move. You can't do that. If you sign a contract, then you have to say, I'm here for 3 years, 4 years, and that I'm going to honor that contract. You sign it because you're happy with it. I think he's been poor. You can't behave like that. The one set of supporters that won't let you away with it are Newcastle fans. It's hard to argue with them. Alan Pardew was named Premier League Manager of the season after guiding Newcastle back to Europe in 2012. The journeyman spent 4 years at the club's helm and had to deal with his fair share of drama, some of which was brought upon himself. While others may be inclined to take the money on offer and get in a replacement for Isak, Pardew sees no need. And many will agree with his verdict that Newcastle hold all the cards when it comes to their frontman's fate, even if it means he's unhappy at St. James Park for a time. The transfer to me looks like it can't be done because Newcastle are going to dig their heels in now, and I think they are angry, said former Magpies chief Pardew on TalkSport. I would also be if I was on the Newcastle board. Romano has now shared that Newcastle are looking for a midfielder next, with a striker also desired. Yoane Wissa will likely join Newcastle from Brentford, while no definitive target has been identified in midfield. It's going to be a week where Liverpool maintain their contact active on the player's side and Newcastle will try to find a new striker, Romano added. They are still looking, according to my information, for a new offensive midfielder and a striker, these two positions. Let's see what they're going to do. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our third news is Liverpool really interested in centre-back Giovanni Leoni, price tag set. Parma centre-back Giovanni Leoni has been watched closely by Liverpool, and the club are described as having started to really build their interest. Liverpool's needs at centre-back are evident, and Crystal Palace captain Marc Guehi has headlined the list of targets throughout this summer, though a deal has yet to advance. The club have also been linked with young options in the position, including Leoni, Joel Ordóñez of Club Brugge, and Wolfsburg's Konstantinos Kouliarakis. Leoni is a name that has started to be more strongly linked, and transfer journalist Fabrizio Romano has now described Liverpool as really interested. Talking on the Here We Go podcast, Romano reports that Liverpool are really considering the 18-year-old defender, who is on their shortlist. Liverpool started following and monitoring this player, including him on the shortlist, and now I can tell you they start really building their interest, he stated. The Italian centre-back has been linked to clubs in his homeland, including Inter Milan after they appointed former Parma manager Christian Chivu to replace Simone Inzaghi. Leoni's price tag is prohibitive for the majority of Italian clubs, with Parma seeking at least €40 million, £34.6 million, for the highly rated centre-back. Romano seeks to say that Liverpool have to decide whether they opt for a young player or one who can guarantee an immediate impact, but in an ideal world the club acquire both this summer. Leoni is considered a huge prospect after a breakout year in Serie A that concluded with 17 appearances at the age of just 18, with Romano describing him as probably the biggest young star we have in Italy in his position. The Mail's Lewis Steele and Liverpool journalist David Lynch have both previously name-checked Leoni as a centre-back the club have been monitoring. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our fourth news is Liverpool's Collins bid blocked as Guehi talks advance. Liverpool face defensive tug-of-war as Collins' hope fades but Guehi door opens. Balancing ambition with reality in transfer market. Liverpool's summer rebuild under Arne Slot has been nothing short of assertive. 7 new arrivals have already been unveiled, headlined by Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong and Hugo Ekitike, yet the champions' recruitment drive shows no signs of slowing. Central defense remains a priority, particularly after Jarell Quansah's departure to Bayer Leverkusen and with Ibrahima Konate entering the final year of his contract. 2 names have dominated discussions, Brentford's newly appointed captain Nathan Collins and Crystal Palace's England international Marc Guehi. But as Pete O'Rourke reports, Liverpool's pathway to the former may already be blocked. Liverpool's interest in Collins was first reported earlier this month, with the 24-year-old described as a born leader by Brentford's official channels. The admiration is genuine. His commanding performances last season caught plenty of eyes, but the reality is that Brentford have no appetite to sell. O'Rourke told Football Insider. It's a bit of a surprising link, not just because it's Nathan Collins. He enjoyed a very good season for Brentford last year. There's no doubt Liverpool are looking light at centre-back, having sold Jarell Quansah, and the ongoing speculation about Ibrahima Konate's long-term future. I can't see Brentford letting Collins go, having seen so many other star players leave this summer. He's just been made captain. I just don't see how Brentford can afford to let him go. It's a stance rooted in necessity. Having already endured the loss of key players, Brentford risk unraveling their squad spine if Collins departs. The not-for-sale signs, as O'Rourke puts it, are firmly in place. While Brentford's door remains shut, Crystal Palace's is ever so slightly ajar. Marc Guehi's contract expires next summer, and Palace chairman Steve Parish has publicly acknowledged the club's willingness to sell under the right conditions. Speaking after Palace's Community Shield win over Liverpool, Parish admitted, "Yes. Of course, for players of that caliber to leave on a free, it is a problem for a football club. There is no doubt about it, unfortunately. We will do whatever we can. But as far as people being here or not being here, it depends. If it is the right decision for the football club and them, nobody can make anyone go. There will be some changes. But we have got to make smart ones." Sources have told Team Talk that Liverpool have already agreed personal terms with Guehi on a 5-year deal, with the player himself eager to join the champions. The sticking point is the fee. Liverpool will not exceed £45 million including bonuses, while Palace may seek to push that figure higher. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Our fifth news is Liverpool in talks over Marc Guehi deal as transfer could be concluded fast, report. Marc Guehi defeated Liverpool in the Community Shield final but may end up playing for them this season. Liverpool will reportedly look to add to their defensive depth this summer by closing a deal to sign Marc Guehi from Crystal Palace. Guehi is the current captain of Crystal Palace and lifted the Community Shield against Liverpool in the curtain raiser for top-flight football this weekend. With a year left on his deal, it looks inevitable Guehi will leave. Whether that is for a fee this summer, or for free next year is yet to be decided, but Liverpool are going to make a push to sign him before the transfer market closes in just over 3 weeks. Crystal Palace defender Marc Guehi is entering the last 12 months of his contract. Image credit, Getty Images. As it stands, the Reds have 3 senior centre-backs on their books. Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate, who are both ranked amongst 442's best centre-backs in the world, started the game at Wembley against Crystal Palace, with Joe Gomez missing the game through injury. Ryan Gravenberch, Wataru Endo, Andy Robertson, Kostas Tsimikas and even Trey Nyoni all deputized there in pre-season, but Arne Slot and the Anfield hierarchy are determined to add a specialist there before the window shuts. An update from the Daily Mail suggests they will push hard to complete a deal for Guehi, with the Premier League champions willing to pay in the region of £40 million to secure his services. The report states Crystal Palace are holding out for £45 million, so the teams are not too far apart in their valuation of the defender. Team Talk reinforced their belief that personal terms have been agreed, as long ago as the start of July, so should a fee be agreed, a move may be concluded relatively quickly. It had been suggested that Chelsea, who Crystal Palace purchased Guehi from, were considering a move for the 25-year-old following Levi Colwill's ACL injury, but it is believed they are prioritizing other positions this summer. Guehi is not the only central defender on the Reds' radar, with Giovanni Leoni from Parma drawing serious interest from those at Anfield. In 442's view, this transfer should be Liverpool's priority. Whilst Van Dijk's injury record is relatively sound, the same cannot be said for Gomez and Konate, and they are essentially one injury away from a crisis. Guehi would provide immediate competition to Con 8, who is in a similar situation and could even become Van Dijk's primary centre-back partner with a string of good performances. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our last news is Alexander Isak slammed for poor transfer behaviour as Newcastle reminded of hard truth. Alexander Isak is pushing to quit Newcastle and sign for Liverpool, but so far Eddie Howe's side are playing hardball and won't part ways with their star striker easily. Alexander Isak has handled his transfer situation poorly, but Newcastle boss Eddie Howe may be forced to sell him for the sake of the team. That's the view of former Scotland and Rangers frontman Ally McCoist, who is not impressed with Isak's conduct this summer. The Swedish hitman is looking to force a move to Liverpool and has told Magpies top brass he wants out of St James' Park. Isak, 25, headed off to Spain for training without informing Howe as he recovered from a thigh strain while the rest of the squad were in the Far East for pre-season training. McCoist said, "I think he's acted poorly. Not all players, but some players and people forget that if you sign a contract you are clearly happy with the contract. You can't sign a contract with the intention of doing well, throwing the toys out and demanding a move. You can't do that. If you sign a contract then you have to say, I'm here for 3 years, 4 years, and that I'm going to honor that contract. You sign it because you're happy with it. I think he's been poor. You can't behave like that." The one set of supporters that won't let you away with it are Newcastle fans. It's hard to argue with them. Liverpool have failed with a £110 million bid for Isak as they look to further bolster their attack this summer. The Reds are not prepared to make a second bid until they receive some encouragement from Newcastle that they're willing to negotiate. Howe has been trying to bring in a potential replacement for Isak but failed in a bid to sign Benjamin Sesko, who ended up at Manchester United. TNT Sports pundit McCoist feels though that Howe may have to let him go for the better of the team if Isak could potentially be a problem if he stays. He said, "Eddie has to show strength, but the most important thing he has to do what is right for the team and the club. We might think leadership is Eddie going, right, get yourself fit and get back in this squad, but that might not be the best thing for Newcastle. We might say he's not been strong enough, but what he is actually doing might be the best for Newcastle. Eddie might say to the owners, I know you want £150 million, I'm telling you now he will be a problem when he gets back in the dressing room, so you're going to have to do something. He might say, I won't say this publicly, but I don't want him back in the dressing room because he will cause me problems. We don't know how Eddie is thinking." Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never